Now you have found the perfect sewing pattern, but for one reason or the other, you don't like the sleeve which came with your sewing pattern, or it didn't came with a sleeve at all. So what can you do about this? Well, if you stay tuned, then I will show you how you can measure your armsye and your arm. And with this information you can go to my website and draft yourself a matching sleeve pattern for almost any pattern with an armsye. There's one condition though: this won't work for a tank top or something like this, which has a narrow strap. So the shoulder should exactly sit on the beginning or the end of your shoulder. So if this is how your pattern looks like, then you can create yourself a sleeve pattern. So what measurements do you need? Let us jump right in. First, you need to measure the length of your armholes here. Here's the front. And you simply go along this curve with your measuring tape and write this down. And here for the back, exactly the same. Just take the measurement of the length. Now, this pattern comes with markings for setting in the sleeves. There is this single notch in the front and this double notch in the back. If your pattern does not have these, you can just ignore it. But if your pattern comes with these, you can measure the length below these markings, front and back. Here, measure to the center of the notch. And then your sewing pattern will be created with these notchings according on the sleeve. And last but not least, we need the height of the armhole. So measure vertically down, here from the tip at the shoulder down to the lowest part of your armsye. Remember to always measure the stitching line and not the seam allowance. So I begin here where the stitching line is and I measure down here. So then all we need is a measurement from the length of the arm, and this is measured with the elbow slightly bent. And then you only need to measure around your wrist, and then you are all set. Let me show you now how you can create the free sleeve pattern. If you have taken all the measurements, then we can create the pattern. You can either follow the link below the video or you go to dressdeveloper.com, pattern kits. And here we have the sleeve pattern kit. So you have 5 styles of sleeves here. Of course, we have a simple plain sleeve, just one pattern piece, that's all. You have a sleeve with cuff. This would be for knit fabrics. And the third style would be a sleeve with cuff and placket. So this can be used for non-stretchy woven fabrics. And you have a short sleeve and a little special, the butterfly sleeve. So, and here in these red bordered fields, I need to put in the measurements that I just took. So front armhole length is 3. Back armhole length was 31. Front armhole height 22. Back armhole height 25. What? No, 6. No. Do a comma or a dot, but don't use a semicolon. front sleeve marker length. Again, this is optional. 11.5. So if you're unsure where you should measure, you can always check here. There are always informations about what you need to do. And after you have done all your measurements, then you can also change your sleeve. So the most important setting is this, the fitting of a sleeve. So you can choose between a very high sleeve head, which would result in a narrow sleeve at the upper arm. This would work well with knit fabrics, but not so well with non-stretchy woven fabrics. So you should go for a medium or even a flat sleeve head. Or if you want a really, really billowing sleeve, you can also choose here the very flat head. This is not exactly scientifically named, just try it out and you will see what you get. Sleeve head width addition. So if you enter anything here, then the sleeve gets spread out, the sleeve head gets spread out, and you need to gather your sleeve head to get it down into your armsye. The 4 centimeters here are added to the scope of your wrist, so this is basically the ease of a wrist. And the sleeve length extension, just in case you want your sleeve to be a bit longer, maybe because you want it to cover part of your hand, or especially when you have a cuff and you want the fabric below a bit above the cuff, so you can add additional length here. And when you go for the cuff, let me just show you what happens when you go for the sleeve of a cuff. When you see you have a lot more options here, just play around with it a bit. So you see here, addition to sleeve at cuff, this is the ease of a sleeve itself, while here the 2 centimeters are the ease of a wrist, so of a cuff. And at the point where the cuff meets the sleeve, then there is 6 centimeters of ease added. This determines the amount of bill, so the billowing of a sleeve, right? So, and you can choose between classic placket or tape and folds or gathers. And yeah, the cuff height. This is again the sleeve length extension. In this case, this does make more sense. So you see the 2 is already here filled out for you. But I will just go for the plain sleeve right now. And all I need to do is to add some seam allowance. The paper format is fine for now, and I can create the pattern. And as always, I show you the second link first. This is a little cover with all the informations about your settings and a printing preview of your sleeve. So you know how you need to assemble it. And here the first link. Here's the pattern itself, all ready for printing. And with that, you have created your very first own custom sleeve pattern. So to end this video, I'm going to show you a couple of examples which were created with this kit. So to begin with, we have basically the same sleeve twice, but you see that these sleeves do not line up. So if I try to position them, here, lay the top markings, the top notches over each other, then you will see that the lower sleeve is wider but a bit shorter here in the top. And the second sleeve is higher in the top and narrower down here. So this is basically the same sleeve, but with a different sleeve cap height. So this is the high sleeve cap, and you see that the sleeve is quite narrow. This would be a good match for a knit fabric with some stretch. You don't have much folds when the arm is hanging down. But if you would not sew this out of a stretch material, then you might have trouble moving, lifting your arms up. In woven fabrics, you get a much better, oh, sorry for the rustling noise. In woven fabrics, you get a much better mobility with a lower sleeve cap and a wider arm. This would create a tiny bit of amount of folds, extra material under the arm, but it would make the lifting of the arm much easier. So I would take this sleeve with a medium-high sleeve cap for a woven fabric, and this sleeve with a high sleeve cap for a knit fabric. And this here does not really fit on the screen. This is what you get when you add additional width to the sleeve cap. So this is a very, very wide sleeve cap, and you see here these dotted dashed lines. This indicates that you need to gather the top of the sleeve down. So this is a puff sleeve. So you would gather up the top to get it into the armsye. And here on the bottom you can, for example, add a little piece of elastic. And then you have a nice poofy little sleeve. And another nice variation, the last one I will show you, is this. This is the butterfly sleeve. You can combine these, so if you want a very, very fluttery sleeve, you can add some additional width, so the sleeve gets gathered. But here on the top, on the bottom, you see here the curve. This sleeve would best be hemmed with a bias tape, and it would create a nice drapey, in the right fabric, nice drapey folds here from your shoulders. So these are just a couple of examples you can create with my sleeve kit. There are also the sleeves with cuffs, and the sleeve for knit fabrics, and the cuffs for woven fabrics with the placket and the button. And seriously, you have all the possibilities. I might even go ahead and add some additional styles of sleeves in the future. Maybe you have a special request for me. Just let me know down in the comments and I will look into it. So, this was a very short video, but I hope nonetheless it was of some help. And yeah, maybe we will see ourselves soon in the next video. Bye bye!